Hey, 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 hey. The Army of the Heartland. The Army of Tennessee's campaigns, 1861 to 1863. I used to live down there too. I got around a little bit. Uncle Sam sent me a lot of places. I wanted to close out turn one. But before I discuss what happened, or how it ended, the turn one ended, I wanted to grab a couple of rules that I had wrong. When I did look away, one of the watchers uh, mentioned that it was odd that both forces retreated during a combat, and I didn't think much of it. I don't know, maybe I missed the rule, but I was sitting on the couch last night before I passed out, and I was looking through the rule book, through some of the odds and ends stuff. The rule book from Army of the Heartland, not from Look Away, and I'm pretty sure they're identical. I just gotta the Look Away one is printed like a magazine. It's very nice. Um, and sure enough, for retreat, when you roll for a retreat, so I know that battle that I did down here that is in the previous video. The Union player had a retreat of 4. That was Thomas, I believe, and Hardee had a retreat of 3. Well, they both don't retreat, and I corrected it last night before I did reorganization because it didn't really change anything. You subtract the levels, the retreat numbers between the two forces, and so like 4 minus 3, that would have been 1. And since the Union player, since McCook had the highest retreat number, he would have only had to retreat 1, and Hardee would have just stayed where he was. So that's how retreat works. So I unfortunately I only had that one combat, so I just it didn't really affect anything. So I brought McCook back into Franklin, or Thomas back into Franklin, and Hardee ended up moving back over towards where he was anyhow. So that was one of them. The other is morale levels. Okay, so probably if I was playing a campaign or a bigger scenario, I might have called. So there's another little rule I called. Let me find one here on. I tell you, I love these organizations. I know they're huge and they take up a lot of table space, but I love these charts. You can see everything. It's clear. The print's nice. It's not overly fancy, but it has some design work on it. So you'll see right here in that leader number 4, which I think is Hardee. You see, I got that unit in the broken units hex, or in the broken units box there. So, and I gotta go. I need to look at the rules again, and I want to read the what the effects are of that, because I'm not sure how that applies yet. I know, because I never had to do it. I obviously have missed this rule. But how this works is your leader's morale level is 2. All right, in this game here, the second number on the counters is the unit's morale level, but it works in an opposite effect. So obviously, the higher the number the leader's morale is, the better it is for all the units in there. So in this game here, a 0 morale on a counter is better than a 3. It works in reverse. So since his morale level, the leader's morale level is 2, any unit whose morale level is higher, or number-wise, okay, which in this case here would be a worse, the 3 means it's worse. So they are considered a broken unit. They're not, I guess, not shattered. It means their morale is bad. So that's a tricky rule that I think, I wouldn't doubt if that probably throws a lot of people off when trying to learn this game. So just remember, if the leader's morale level is 2, all right, and the units in there, if their morale number, which is the second number, is working in reverse, is higher than that leader's morale, that unit is broken. So you see there, the Confederates have 1, and I think that's all they have. The Union, on the other hand, because first off, the cold weather reduced everybody's morale by 1, and they were only a 3. And then, one got into a fight, so he lost 1. So the Union leaders have, that unit has 2. He's got 1. He's got 1. I think everybody else is sound up there. So now there's 1 over here. So that's something you got to pay attention to. Now, before I get into the next turn, though, I got to read about these broken units. Okay, so let's talk about the end of turn one. All right, so we only had the one fight. We'll go ahead and get that out of the way here, too. So, like I say, I readjusted Thomas, brought him back down into Franklin. Put Wheeler over here, and I think I got, there was a Cav unit sitting there with Hardy, and I got that Cav unit to join with, no, I'm lying, I did not. I got the Cav unit, he's joined with Hardy. I wanted to get and that'll because I want that cavalry superiority in a fight, but I may need to get that cavalry unit that's in the middle here with Hardy. I may need to get him over here with Wheeler. So I put Wheeler there in the rough terrain or whatever it is, so that he can catch zones of control on both of those roads right there. Hardy, same thing in the middle there, in case when they try to come towards Murfreesboro. And I created some engineer supervisors during the reorganization phase. Costed. I got a chart here somewhere. You do a lot of stuff in this game during the reorganization phase. Yeah, the camera's all over the place. So I built an engineer supervisor, which costs 2 points. And then, right towards the end of the reorganization segment, you can flip that at a cost of a point from the commander to start entrenching. So that's what's going on there. And whether or not he makes it through all of that before the Union gets down there, I don't know. The Union is I had to get, obviously, Rosecrans. I had to make him active again. That costs 10 war effort points to get his butt reactivated. And when you're only playing when you start with 80 something, you can look on the chart here. The Union is already down to 58. Now, they did get 8 points back of war effort points for the 4 major cities they hold during the reorganization phase. The Confederates only hold 2, so they got 4 points. There's no foraging in this game, so you can't get any in this scenario. So you can't get any supply from foraging or ammo supply or whatever. So you have to buy it, and it's like 1 point per ammo supply point. So instead of burning all my war effort points out, I went through the units of each one and decided, okay, larger force we'll make sure they have, for the Union, 4 or 5. I think I set it at 5. Yeah, it looks like most of the 3 unit forces are at 5. Now remember also too, the Union units are bigger because they're divisions. The Confederates, it might look like they got more when you look at these charts, but they're only brigades. The Confederates, they have a lot less war effort points, although right now they have more in the barrel than the Union does. But so most of them are 3 and 4. I don't think I pushed any of them to 5. Nah, looks like I got most of the big ones at 4. Because I learned my lesson plan to look away, conserving them points. All right, I back over on the board. So my turn 2, when I started, there's the bids, and like I said, I'm using a dice to do that, and I'm trying to avoid the 0 bid because this is only 3 turns. So, Union detachments over here, like I said, they didn't do nothing in the first turn. Well, they moved a little bit just to sort of try to secure these lines, but old Nathan Bedford Forrest, I tried to destroy that bridge right there so the Union can't use it, and I had to burn a point. He's only got 2 administrative points. I had to burn 1, and he failed. He got a roll of 6 on the dice to do it. Stevens is still inactive. Joe Johnston's inactive. Harry Heath, he's over here. He's inactive. Morgan, okay, so now I'm having my first battle with supply and cutting rail lines. So I cut that rail line right there, thinking, oh, cool. I'm going to cut their main thoroughfare. But, however, Nashville has a port right there. So I was like, well, that didn't do me any good, because all of these units below him can trace supply back down to the port. So what I'm probably going to try to do is get old Nathan across there and see if I can't. I need to read a rule on that one too, because if I can get adjacent to that river, can that cut off the supply? Because it's got to come in from over here. All right, but I'm going to work on that one. I really don't foresee, now, John Hunt Morgan up here, he's caught out of communication. Now, and what you do is for every 5 hexes away from a supply source, if he still has a clear line, for every 5 hexes or movement points, it's like a modifier on the die roll attrition, strategic attrition, which you have to roll. And cavalry gets like a -4 for their die roll because they're efficient at gathering up supplies, they're on horseback. So he was fortunate that he didn't take a step loss during attrition. But now I got to get him back in supply, or else I'm going to take that risk. And he's not carrying much. He's got 1 cab unit, and I know they're at full strength, so he's got 2 step losses is all he can take right there. So I was trying to do what they did strategically, or what they did in the actual campaign, and let's go up there and cut these lines. Like I say in my last video, they were successful at it. But from what I'm seeing, it's not going to have any effect unless I can cut this naval port. If I can cut supply going to Nashville down the river there. So I got to figure that one out. As far as the units over here in the west, I don't foresee these are Grant's boys over here, some I'm sure. I can't see knocking them out of supply. But like I say, maybe if I can eliminate supply feeding into Nashville, it will. It's only 3 turns. I doubt I'm going to be able to pull it off. But I think this is going to be focused on the fighting right here around Murfreesboro, which is fixing to happen. I do have. Who is it down here on the train? I have McCown, who's got a decent size. He's got like 3 brigades in his force. He's coming towards Murfreesboro on the train, and he should probably get there. Oh, yeah, he'll get there easily on this next turn. And outside of that, not a whole lot more going on. Each minute or 2 that I played this game, I'm starting to like this. I really am starting to like this. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the great campaigns from Avalon Hill, and I'm sure I'm going to like MMPs. I've got them, but I haven't played them yet. I'm going to get to them. Osprey and I are playing Stonewall Jackson's Way, which I'm getting ready to post one on that so you can see our co-op on that. But the command structure to this game, the supply structure to this game, the creating of units. I mean, it's not overwhelming like a total country Civil War game where you have to account for everything, production on. It's not that deep, but it's deep enough to provide you some good effect and realism for a campaign of a certain area, okay? And you really, I'm telling you, you've got to apply serious wisdom, which I don't have any, but I'm trying, to who are you going to put into action each turn? All right? And at the, you might put a force into action, and then at the end of the turn, or the end of the impulse, you make him inactive, which is fine, and then you don't lose a point for voluntary, but you got to pay to reactivate him on the next turn. So you got to watch that. So, right now for this game, Heath is he's not going to do nothing. The Union Commander, Morgan Brigadier General, he's probably not going to do nothing. Just nothing's going to happen there, all right? Nothing's going to happen along the mountains here, okay? It's pretty much all going to happen right there. And with the 2 Confederate cavalry units, Hunt Morgan and Nathan and Joe Wheeler, and then just Bragg with Hardy, Polk, and McCown coming up on the train. Like I say, it's a 3-turn scenario. So this is where it's going to be. This is what it was designed for. So that's what's going to happen. I know one of these times I'm going to have to get one of these out and play the campaign. I really would like to find the first one. What's it? I think it's called like Lee's something, but Lee's Invasions, or I don't remember what's called, but I think it was the first one in the series. If anybody's got one out there or knows where I can pick one up that is in decent enough shape, I know it's an older game. I got to get my hands on that. So somebody help me out. Tell me where I can find that darn thing. All right, enjoying this. Turn 1's over. I did the reorganization. The only thing I had to build that was odd was I built that Confederate engineer supervisor so I can build those entrenchments in there in Murfreesboro, hopefully to sort of help out. Other than that, I didn't have any leaders that got lost. I didn't have to bring any from the pool. And, oh yeah, speaking of leaders that are in the pool, you have them in here. Like there's 4 for the Union, and the competitors have 7. They got some good ones too. If you want to create a new force, and you detach one from the overall command, you can, pay the points, bring a new leader, put him on there. So it was like a whole new force, a whole new command, a field command going out, which I could see in campaign games. You're probably going to need a lot of that happening. So, all right, let's get this posted so y'all can see what's happened at the end of turn 1, and we're going to get started on turn 2. Hopefully, I hope to get this thing done this weekend. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon.